Hello, and welcome back to the next part of my Saints in Armor Battle of White Mountain pit playthrough. I just finished conducting turn 4, and now I moved on to turn 5. But I wanted to do a video update before I moved on. First of all, a lot of stuff happened this turn. Interestingly of all, Wing Commander Schlick was able to get his forces over into charge orders. So they were able to charge. As you can see, one of the Arquebusser units, Steubenvall, was able to eliminate a Catholic League light musketeer unit. Unfortunately, that's worth no victory points, but it still goes in the dead pile. And then the Styrum Arquebusser unit kind of made an ill-fated charge over here against the Protestant Herleberg heavy infantry unit. And fortunately, it didn't go too well. Unless they're attacking from the flank, the Arquebusser units have a hard time attacking heavy infantry. And that's not really recommended, but they were going to probably get attacked next turn anyway, so might as well go out in a blaze of glory. They were driven back and were routed, and now they're kind of trying to retreat off the map now, unless they're able to rally. Even though this unit, technically, I believe historically, it was raised an army in Germany by German Lutherans, and they had a mix of the cuirassier, heavy cavalry, and light arquebusiers. For gameplay purposes, it's still classified as a arquebusser unit. Interestingly enough, though, the other Silesian cavalry and the Steubenvall unit were able to attack the flanks and rear hex of the of Tilly's unit that he's leading, and they were able to force them into the hedgehog formation. When you are attacked from the flank by cavalry, it is optional to make the roll to go into the hedgehog formation. But when you are attacked from a rear hex, it's mandatory. You have to roll a morale check to assemble into the hedgehog formation. And so they forced them to hedgehog formation. They were actually able to get them to retreat, but since they are unable to retreat, they roll on the unable to retreat table just due to the units blocking them, and they took a casualty hit then. So, but on the following turn now, I think the light cavalry units are gonna face some counterfire from Tilly. Meanwhile, they're still holding on to that victory point hex over here in the center. The Catholic League is still advancing up forward. Maximilian is back there. He was rallying some units that were had to take a morale check. Meanwhile, over here, the Catholic first echelon of the Imperial troops, they lost one of their light cavalry units just due to heavy musket fire from some of the heavy infantry. And also the Catholic League lost one of their smaller heavy cavalry units just to musket fire in general. And a Protestant heavy cavalry unit from the center was eliminated by some cavalry from the second echelon. So the first echelon now is pretty much shattered, so they're going to have to kind of step aside to let the second echelon forward. Tiefenbach is moving up to take on Thurn. They're still under received charge orders, Matthias is. So unless they can go over to charge, they're going to have to just kind of sit there and take it. Meanwhile, the Polish hussars, they are gathering up for a charge. They are going to probably end up moving onto the flanks and rear of some of these heavy infantry units. Also, there was some Catholic League forces that were routing off the map. They will probably be exiting soon unless they are able to make a morale check to rally. The Transylvanians are still proving to be unhelpful. They are still under received charge orders. So hopefully before the end of the game, there's only 3 turns left. Hopefully they will get a chance to actually do something. The next turn is going to be kind of interesting because the Catholic League forces have kind of stalled out a little bit because they're having to rally and reform. And being forced into the hedgehog position is kind of nice. It makes them, nice for me because it takes them a while to reform out of that. It's kind of basically just like a circle of pikes, kind of poking out at all angles. It keeps the cavalry from charging them, but it also takes a long time to reassemble their units. So there might be a little breathing room. Anyway, I'm going to probably stop it here and play out the next turn. These last few turns I think are going to be pretty intense as the battle draws to a close. And I will see you in the next video.